All right, let's check this out. Now, we went ahead and advanced the Nintendo, the NES audio player. So we had an emulation audio engine. Then we created a player, and we created a NSF player, um, Nintendo sound format player as a kind of a media player. And then kind of like I went back to the ability for us to create songs and kind of went more the algorithm approach where we can do rules to generate audio. So instead of the original idea of having an AI language model kind of like give me songs, which we still have that program, now we have an app that is essentially an NES music studio where you can kind of generate music and tweak it. And so this is a work in progress, and this is an early version, but it should be enough to show you what we have here. So let's take a look at let's go ahead and just generate some songs as the thing sits so that you can kind of hear what we can kind of generate. And so um we have some options like to remix or randomize the song. We also have the ability to control the individual channels. We'll be able to have, we have a new version right now that exists, but I'm not in, or we can actually disable any of the individual channels, and we can remix any of the individual channels to, if we like what we're hearing, but we don't like a certain aspect of the song. One of the most commonly, you have to find the right quote unquote noise, the channel called noise that generates noise. That has to be kind of subtle and nuanced to work with the music. So let's go ahead and generate some just so you get an idea of what we can do. I'm going to go ahead and just mute my mic and go through a lot of these sounds so you can get an idea of what they sound like. And then I'll remix some as well so you can hear what the variations are. So if you pay attention to the top left, that's the kind of music that we're at. For example, dungeon music would be dungeon, and then we have, of course, like a boss battle or overworld or whatever. Let's take a listen. All right, so that gives us. I tried to play the ones that sound nicer, and give some highlights on those. Um, some of them are not too bad, and so this is the first version of this program, and I think it's clear enough that there's a few of the songs, the types that we want to more closely follow. What the music in those games sounds like. For example, Mega Man like should sound much more Mega Man like, as they have a lot more typical sound. So I think that it's a reasonable amount of success. We're seeing the ability to randomize, which currently randomizing music lets you land on, ooh, this is pretty good, and ooh, this is kind of bad. So there's too much range. It's too far outside of the ideal. But then again, like, yeah, randomize is going to give you what you expect. It's randomizing with rules, which is why this is algorithm based. So I think it's pretty interesting. Like that the user interface is not too overly complicated, and there's some very useful information. And I think it's just a kind of a matter of, can I get this to produce? This is pretty cool how you can, check out the melody and harmony, bass triangle, drums. And so, see if I switch this. Ah, I see. So this is this is interesting because we go through and you could see like 4 on the floor for drums, and it goes boom, 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 boom. So that gives you 4 on the floor. And then sparse goes boom, bam, or something, right? So that's pretty cool. So you're seeing kind of like what are the rules and what are the setups for the music. So that's it's pretty awesome. And yeah, so I think that I really like the way this is stacking up, the direction of this program. I want to see my usual things where I can change my color themes. I think I'm living in this kind of dark purple theme. And obviously, it's kind of cool in a certain way, but it also kind of feels a certain way. Anyway, I'll cut the commentary on this. I hope you found that interesting. And yeah, it wasn't all bad. Catch you on the next video.